I made this tea for another video that I filmed before this one that is probably going to be uploaded after this one, so remember to subscribe. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Dani and today I'm gonna tell you all or a lot of my most anticipated releases for the next 2 months. My original idea was to do all next 4 months, the rest of the year, but I couldn't find as many books that are going to be released in November and December because I think it's just too far away still and there's a lot that wasn't announced. That's what I'm guessing. So I'm going to separate this in two. So we got 2 videos because there's a lot to talk about September and October. This is mostly going to be fantasy and sci-fi and mostly YA and adult. There's one special middle grade that you probably already know what it is if you know me at all. But other than that, I think it's all YA and adult. This video doesn't mean that I'm going to read all of this book, especially on release date. But there's a lot that I really do want to read as soon as I can, and some that I might read later on, or if the reviews are bad after it comes out, then maybe I won't. But I'm very excited for all of these, and I think you might be as well, so you can add new books to your TBR. On September 8th, there are 2 books that I'm very excited for, one sci-fi and one thriller. The first one is a sci-fi, and it is Iron Heart by Nina Varela. Iron Heart is the sequel to Crier's War that I read this year, and this one came out great. And I believe this is a duology, so if you haven't read Crier's War yet, you can read the whole series when Iron Heart comes out. And if you saw my review for Crier's War before, one thing that I recommended was to wait for the sequel so you can read everything at once. And I think that would be a great plan if you're interested in the series. Crier's War tells the story of a world that's been dominated by robots. And Crier, she is the daughter of a very important robot person who rules the world. I forget. She hires Isla to be her maid. And Isla actually wants to kill Crier because she doesn't believe in all of that and they want to overthrow the robots, but they end up having feelings for each other. It's a very cute story. I really like their relationship and their romance in it. I feel like there were too many unanswered questions in the first book. That's why I said that you should wait for the sequel. Now the sequel's coming. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen next. It's still September 8th. We have One by One by Ruth Ware. I hear people mentioning this book a ton throughout the year, and I've read 2 Ruth Wares and I didn't like one of them. I really liked the other one, so I wasn't that excited about it. But when I was doing my research for this video, I actually read a synopsis because I hadn't read it before, and it sounds like the perfect book for me. This is a mix of, that's my explanation. This is a mix of 2 of my favorite books, and then there were None by Agatha Christie and An Unwanted Guest by Shari LaPena, because it's literally people who get snowed in a hotel and then they start dying one by one. So it's a mix of 2 of my favorite books. So I'm very excited for it. And that's the whole synopsis that I know. It's a thriller. We don't like to know a lot about thrillers before reading. So that's all that I needed to know. They snowed in the hotel, they start dying one by one. What's happening? And then on September 15th, we have Horrified by Katrina Leno. I haven't read any Katrina Leno before. I've heard great things about her books, but this synopsis makes me very intrigued. This is about a girl and her mom. I think her dad dies, and then she and her mom move back to her mom's old childhood house, which is of course an old manor with lots of secrets. There's a lot of weird stuff that starts happening, and apparently there might be a ghost in the house. I'm really curious. It's the perfect book for Halloween season. And it's been described as having chilling elements from Stephen King and Agatha Christie. Is that not enough? It's still September 15th. There's another very dark, mysterious thriller. It is Even If We Break by Marieke Nijkamp. I hope I'm saying this right. I checked the pronunciation in her website. And this is about a group of friends that are tied up in a deadly weekend because of a game. The synopsis of it is super creepy and spooky and Halloweeny again. I'm so curious to read it. It says, 5 friends go to a cabin. 4 of them are hiding secrets. 3 years of history bind them. 2 are doomed from the start. 1 person wants to end this. No one is safe. I need this book. Still September 15th is a great day for book releases. We have To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. You might know him by Aragon. He wrote that when he was like a teenager, and now he's written this sci-fi story about first contact, and it's huge. It's like 800 pages, and it sounds amazing. Apparently, there's this girl. She's doing a routine survey mission in another planet, an uncolonized planet, and she finds this ancient alien relic, but then the alien dust starts to move, and I guess it's like very scary. So it's at the same time that it's creepy, we have this first contact, which is always exciting. It just sounds awesome. On September 22nd, we have The Left-Handed Booksellers of London by Garth Nix. I believe most people know Garth Nix by the series Sabriel. The series is not actually called Sabriel, but the first book is. I actually read another series by him. I haven't read Sabriel, but I read The Seventh Hour 1,000 years ago. I don't remember anything, but I remember really having a lot of fun. And this new book that's coming out by him is about magical fighting booksellers who police the mythical old world of England when it intrudes in the modern world. So we have like magical people, wizards, who are booksellers, and we have the left-handed ones and the right-handed ones. The left-handed is the ones that fight, I think, and the right-handed is the intellectual ones. I forgot exactly the details, but it's about that, and I'm very intrigued. Every time I put books and magic together, it's already interesting for me. On September 29th, we have A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, which is a first in a series, and I haven't read anything by Naomi Novik. I've always been curious to read some of her most famous books, like Spinning Silver and Uprooted, but at the same time, I've heard that they're too slow, so I'm hesitant, and I never picked them up. But A Deadly Education sounds so cool. It's about a magic school where if you fail, you die. It's like you can't fail school because you're gonna be killed or you're gonna die by some magical thing. I don't know, it doesn't explain. But if you fail, you die. And then there is a girl who starts to unlock all the secrets about this magical school. Very intrigued, very excited. I really want to read this book. And last but not least, in September, still September 29th, we have Sky Hunter by Mary Lou. It's also the first one in a series, and it's a fantasy. It tells a story about a nation called Mara, who is the last free nation in this world, and they're being attacked. The refugees that are trying to run away from this attack, if they get captured, instead of just killing them, they are transformed into giant war beasts called ghosts. And that's all I needed to know. I hadn't heard of this book coming out. The only book by Mary Lou that I read was The Kingdom of Back, and I really enjoyed it. It has absolutely nothing to do one with the other, but I really like her writing, so I'm really curious to see this one. Let's go to October. October 6th, there's one of the most anticipated books of the year for a lot of people in the book community, which is The Invisible Life of Adularoo by V. Schwab. If you haven't heard of this before, it's about a girl who makes a deal with a demon, a god, and she can live forever, but she's forgotten by everyone that she meets. Until one day she meets a man who remembers her name. If you want to pre-order this one, there's so many different covers, different editions to pre-order. You can check V. Schwab's Instagram for it. There's she posted a lot of different options that you can pre-order with different sprayed edges or different content that comes in it. So be sure to check that out if you're interested in this book. Next, in October 6th still, is The Devil and the Dark Water by Stuart Turton. I just read his first book, which is 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, and honestly I didn't love it and I didn't really like his writing style, but I know that this is a favorite for a lot of people, so it's here if you're curious about it. This is about a ship where a detective is being taken to trial because of a crime that he may or may not have committed, and then strange stuff starts happening in this ship. There are strange symbols that appears and people were marked for death, including the detective. I'm very curious about this one because I like, in general, detective stories, depending on how it goes, but I don't like ship stories so much, and I didn't like his writing style. So for this one, I maybe will just try to sample and see if I like it before I order it. But if you really like 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, that's one that you should check out. The next one I have a very short blurb. It comes out also on October 6th, and it's called Blaze Wrath Games by Amparo Ortiz. And the blurb that I've read about it, that's all that I needed to know, it's World Cup with dragons. Apparently, tournament with dragons. I really like the cover. I'm very curious about this one as well. Another book coming out in October 6th is one that I'm not going to read, and I'll explain why. It is Over the Woodward Wall by A. Deborah Baker. This one is actually written by Shanna McGuire, and apparently it's part of the Middle Game book. So I heard from Sasha, from The Wild Sasha, I'm gonna link her channel in the description, that she said that in Middle Game there is a book within that book that is this one, is Over the Woodward Wall. And everyone who read Middle Game wanted to read the other book, so she published it. So this is actually Shanna McGuire, and if you read Middle Game, you should check this one out. I haven't read it yet. If I manage to read it soon, then I will probably be curious to read this one too. The next one is my most anticipated release of the whole year. It comes out on October 27th, but it actually came out in August 18th in Australia, but in US and Canada, it's only October 27th, which makes me very sad and anxious. But it is Hollowpox by Jessica Townsend. This is the third book in the Nevermore series. This one, the subtitle of it is The Hunt for Morgan Crow. The first one is The Trials of Morgan Crow. This one is The Hunt. And it's one of my favorite series ever, and I'm very excited for this one. I was definitely going to pre-order it, but I'm now changed to ordering a special Alcray Jr. box for it that comes with a bunch of really cool stuff that they already announced and some that they haven't announced yet. But I'm definitely going to buy that one. And it probably won't arrive on release date because everything takes so long to arrive. But I'll be patient because it's going to be an exclusive signed edition for one of my favorite series. So yeah, if you're reading Nevermore, just know that this one comes out on October 27th. Unless you're in Australia and maybe UK. UK might also have a different release date, but in US and Canada, it's October 27th. And the last one that I have here on my list, also October 27th, is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. She's the same author who wrote Stalking Jack the Ripper, and this is also the first one in a series. This is about two sisters who are witches and they live among humans secretly, and then one of them dies, I think, and the other sister meets one of the wicked princes of hell. This sounds very intriguing. It also has the potential to be very normal YA fantasy, but I'm expecting that it's going to be great because I really like the premise and I've heard awesome things about the author. Like I said, I wanted to do November and December as well, but I couldn't find as many books. But I'm going to put here on the screen some of the books that are coming out in November, December, or even next year, but just books that I'm very excited for that I will talk about more in the next video that I do of anticipated releases. So remember to subscribe if you want to hear more about these other books and others that I'm sure are going to be released and I'm going to add to my list. And remember to comment and to like this video. And thank you so much for joining me. Bye!